part 2 of this lesson is wall finishing estimation. So we have to have something to cover the outside of the wall. Exterior means the outer side, right? So this is the exterior view of the house. You don't need this sheet for this lesson, but I just wanted to use it to clarify some things. So of course, a house on the outside can have siding, it can have brick, it could also have something called stucco. If you've never seen stucco before, you could pause the video and look up stucco. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the longevity of it, and you find it in a lot of the homes on the west, like in New Mexico and Colorado and California. But it's kind of like a cement procedure that you could look at if you want to take some time to check that out. You would have some time. So that's the different types of, some of the different types of exterior coverings for the house. So we need to come up with an estimate for that, because they also charge for labor and material per square foot. Then we'll also be looking at the interior, the inside of some of these walls. And the interior is typically covered with what you call drywall or sheetrock. So this is like a chalky material. It's really easy to cut. You usually cut drywall to fit special places around plumbing fixtures and stuff just with a razor blade, and you hit the hole out or whatever. If you cut a circle here, you can cut it out with the razor blade and then hit it with a hammer. But you know, because it would make a real big mess if you tried to cut it with a saw. But it's basically just some paper that sandwiches in what's called gypsum, but it's kind of like chalk, you can see. But it's durable and it serves the purpose for interior housing. So what we'll start off with is calculating the exterior cost. What is it going to cost to calculate the exterior of the house? One thing we could use on this is this is fairly standard, but you know, as houses get fancier and bigger, they have much larger walls. So 10 feet walls and even taller walls is more common these days. But back in prior days, 8 foot was just pretty much the straight up standard on that. So 8 foot is the height of the wall. But if we're wanting to look at just the exterior, then we're looking at just the same as we did last time before. It's just the perimeter all the way around this house. So you just make a complete circle going around the house. You don't have to use the marker there. I'm just putting that to highlight what we're talking about. So that's the exterior. If you want to know what's the total square foot of the exterior, well, remember these dimension lines right here on our measurements? This is telling you, and we can estimate that up to 31 feet. And we'll estimate this one. We'll go ahead and go to 13. I know that in school they tell you to round up after 5, but just for estimation purposes, in construction they round up a little earlier than that. So they probably just knocked that on up to 13. So you do the same process all the way back around here, okay? Just determining the measurements. You can see that dimension line right here to there. So that's telling you it's basically 8 foot 9 inches, or you'll round that up to 9 for this section here, okay? So you'll go all the way around it for the exterior, come up with a total of linear foot all the way around. Then you'll write that down, maybe in a section over here, and then you're going to multiply it by 8 foot, because it is 8 foot tall. So that'll give you the square area of the wall. So you probably could just write that right here. Again, they didn't really, I would have had that as question number 1. But you can write that as square foot on the wall right here. And so for answer number 1, we need to find the labor and material for stucco. So we just plug in the number of But if you notice, it's asking for square yards. So we're going to back up a little bit and we'll talk about yards for a bit. So just like the roofing had the squares on there, now we'll calculate for the yards. If you think of football, if it's 4th and 1, that means it's 10 yards for a first down, right? And if they don't quite make it for 10 yards, sometimes you see it's 4th and 1. Well, that just means 1 yard to make either the touchdown, or typically that'd be 4th and goal, but 1 yard to make the first down. So 1 yard is 3 feet. So again, we're going to look at kind of a square to determine square yards. So square yards is 3 feet in this direction, and 3 feet here. I'll square that off a bit. Of course, I didn't measure it, but 3 feet by 3 feet is 9 square feet. But it really is, if we're calculating as yards, or so this is 3 feet, same as 1 yard. Well, if we multiply this together, this is 1 square yard. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to take your total square foot, and we're going to basically, I'll show you the formula here. We're going to put the total square foot we're going to divide that by 9, because remember we said it was 9 square foot in a yard, and that's going to give us our answer up here in square yards. So you can use the calculator if you choose, but total square feet divided by 9 gives you square yards. Now, we can go back to where we left off with the cost. Is we found our total square yards, and we're going to multiply that by 42. So that's going to give us the price of the stucco. And that should take care of the exterior finish cost, okay? So all that work to get to number 1. But now number 2, we'll look at the interior. And interior is a little different because when we were looking at the exterior, there's just one side for stucco here, right? But when you're thinking about a wall, like this interior part of this wall right here, there's 2 parts here. Then, because it's this side and this side, this side and this side. So we can go ahead and calculate both sides of these walls right here. And I would suggest is go ahead and look at all the walls that are going to have 2 sides on them, okay? Because not everything has 2 sides when you break it down. So that would have 2 sides. I'm not seeing anything else here, nothing else here. So everything in green here would have 2 sides on it. And if you want to round up again to determine what this length is, and if you need to, you could add this part right here if you want to, because I'm not seeing a dimension line for that here to here. But we do know from here to here is 17 foot 6 inches, so we could go ahead and call this 18 inches for this, or excuse me, 18 feet for this measurement here. So we're going to take this measurement, and I guess you could do the same for this side. You can go ahead and cover it across here. This measurement, this one, and all the other ones in green, you find the total length. Then you're going to multiply it by 2 because it's both sides. And you can write that answer over here in the margin of your paper just as a reminder. The next thing we'll do is, well, I think I left out one more wall here. This is one more wall that, even though the cabinets are on there, it's still going to have 2 sides on it. So we'll back up and add that to your measurement as well, okay? Next, we'll look at the interior walls that just have one side that's needing to be covered in sheetrock. So that would be everything from here to there. And you might need a dry erase pen for this one since it's a little more complex. So interior here, interior there. So you get the idea as you go around. You're going to find just the one side on this one now. You'll find the total length, and I would need it on this wall too, even though it's got the water heater and the AC forced air unit there. So after you find all these one-sided sheetrock walls in blue, add that to the second. Add that to the number you already wrote down over here in the margin. That should give you the total square feet of all the interior coverings of sheetrock that you need, okay? So once you find that, again, we're still not done yet because we have to find the square area. So you've taken this to review. We've all the double-sided walls. Maybe I'll write it down here. All the double-sided walls we write right here. All the singles, that's when you multiply that by 2. Then the single side now so far this is just length. So what we need to do next is we need to take your answer. You're going to add these two together. Your total square foot. So now we're going to take this answer and we're needing to find, well, let's see if it goes square foot or square yards on the inside first. Okay, drywall. It just says square foot. So the drywall, this again, labor and materials. So we can just stick with this answer here. And if we multiply our answer by 150, like I said, I don't think these are exactly accurate on the pricing, but it's just an example. If we multiply this by 150, it should give you the total cost for the drywall, and that would include probably taping the seams. That means making it where the 2 pieces of drywall that comes together, you can't tell the seams are there, floating it out. Probably wouldn't cover what's called the finish on there, because once you put drywall up, they spray over that to put kind of a surface to it, so it's not just flat. So that would probably be extra, but we're not going to worry about that today. But you'll go ahead and take that answer you get after you run it to the calculator here, and that's going to be the cost of your interior walls. Okay, the next part is the ceiling. So we're coming back to this sheet again. Now think of it, this is like a bird's eye view. So for the ceiling, everything that we see in these 3 areas, I think you've already found this maybe on day 1, but if you want to go ahead and just look through that, you can, or if you just want to quickly do the math, you can, but you would want to multiply, we'd round that up to 31 times from dimension line to dimension line, 13, and give you that space. Then you find the length and width here, gives you the square foot for that space, and then multiply it here, gives you the square foot for this space. But looks like this space is not, it's not quite the same size as this one, but it would be close. But you take this area plus this area plus this area, add them together, and then you're going to multiply that again by the drywall formula right here, okay? And that's what you're going to write as your answer for this, the cost of this. Well, you can put the ceiling area there. So I would put the square foot area. Again, I had to change what they did. So put the square foot right here. And then put the cost when you multiply this. So multiply this answer by 1.5, and that's going to give you the cost. So we've found the total drywall area. If you wanted to put that in there, you can, but you're just adding the ceiling to the interior walls. So ceiling right here plus this would give you that. Right, okay, so I guess they're not getting to the cost yet. Just the area for the ceiling, the area for the total area of the drywall, and now you're finding the answer. But you can do it one at a time, or you can find all the areas and then multiply it if you want. So anyway, that should get you well on your way here. We'll be looking at plumbing next, figuring out how much those plumbers make as they put in new construction.